Greg Powers. I'm out here at the THSCA Coaches Convention and Coaching School, and I'm joined by one of the top recruiting coordinators in the greater Houston area, Ryan Scott at Klein, Cain. Coach Scott, thanks for jumping on with us today.
Yeah, no problem. It's always fun to talk recruiting.
Man, I love to pick some of the top guys in the state's brains about this stuff, man, because everybody really does it a little bit different. There is no one high school that you can point to and say, this is how you should cover recruiting, because it's really such a community-based thing. Kind of give me some of your keys to success out there at Klein, Cain. What have you guys found to be successful?
Kind of a few things that we do is when we have a recruiter step on campus, one of the things that I was big on even when I came from Waller High School and came to here to Klein, Cain, and told Coach Clancy that I really found that these guys really appreciate is everything is social media driven.
Right.
So we try to tweet out a thank you with their logo and with everything that just a small thank you. We tagged the coach that was there. We tagged the school. We tagged the head coach if there was an offer made to an athlete. So that's one of the things that we do. And then, as far as exposure, again, social media driven, we do a compilation at the end of the spring where we tweet out a giant thank you for all the programs that had been there. We tag them all. Again, it's about exposure. Training your kids how to do a huddle highlight properly. Training your, I'm not always available when a coach comes through. So sometimes it's getting with the two coordinators and letting them know kind of here's where are we with the guys that you coach. Make sure that we're all saying the same thing. I sit down with Coach Clancy. We meet every week, once a week on Monday, and he and I get on the same page. So when a guy walks in and talks to me or talks to Coach Clancy or talks to our coordinators, they're hearing the exact same thing.
You mentioned it too, a lot of how much work really goes into this, and sometimes I think parents and recruits and those outside of the game, overlook how much work that you guys really have to do on your own time. You got to have a love for this, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you love about recruiting?
I like a kid coming in and giving me the goals for what he has, and then me being able to take the tools that I have as a coach. It's the same thing as teaching them football, right? I like a kid walks in and tells me he wants to be a college football player at wide receiver, which is the position that I coach. It's fun to take the tools and the drills and stuff that I have and give him those tools for him to be better at wide receiver. It's the same thing with recruiting. Really enjoy teaching them how to find the right fit. One of the things that Matthew Goldman, who just signed at University of Houston, probably going to be a pretty big role player
for them.
Former
DCTF 4-star Matt Goldman
and super team member, right? Yep. And Matthew. One of the things that I did with him, the kid walked in as a freshman, coached him for 4 years, and he tells me, I am going to be a college football player. I'm going to play in the NFL. Okay, when a kid has goals like that, I can now put together a plan to help him get to that point.
Right.
So with Matthew knowing that's what he wanted to do, I was able to sit down with Matthew and say, okay, so Matt, at one time, one day, football is going to be over.
Right.
Hopefully it lasts as long as you want it to last, but it's a very real possibility that it might not. So what are you going to do when football is done? And so it's teaching those kids how to pick the school, how to pick the degree, how to have a plan in case football just goes away. How to apply for financial aid. How to, we talk about the football side a lot, but there's so much more goes into that than we talked about huddle highlights. How do coaches evaluate me? What are coaches looking for? What's a turn off? What gets them to stay on my film longer? What gets them to come after me? How do I interact with a coach? Do I need to respond to every media request, every coach that contacts me? How do I do that? How much time do we talk about all this stuff. And we meet with the kids. I meet with the kids specifically at the beginning of football season to let them know, hey, guys, take an hour at the end of the day, every day. Spend an hour just like it is homework, and then put it to the side.
Right.
Because if you don't, and I saw this firsthand, Gabriel Hall that's at Baylor that
right.
I coached at, we coached at Waller. I had to teach Gabriel, hey, look, they're going to tweet you, text message you, all this. As long as you respond, they think you're awake. So if it's he came to me and he said, Coach, it's taken away from my school. I was like, okay, well, that school is going to – if it takes away from your schoolwork, it's going to affect the offers. So
you got to find that balance.
It's training them to basically do what we have to do as adults, right? The work, life, school balance.
For sure.
And it's not always easy. And for some of these kids, it's the first time that they've been in the spotlight, right? So it's teaching them how to deal with that stuff.
I want to open it up now a little bit so that you can plug some of your guys, right? Who we got coming up. I mean, I'm actually going to work it backwards. I'm going to start with 2024. I know y'all got a big offensive lineman out there starting to catch some attention.
Yeah, Gibson Pyle at playing offensive line has been he's – to say, most people say weapons as skill kids, right?
Right.
Gibson is a guy that allows us to be pretty versatile up front, and he's going to move around a little bit. We've moved him around in the spring. He's very athletic. He's got great feet. He played tackle for us last year as a sophomore. He played a little bit as a freshman at the end of the season when we got into the playoffs, and then he started all year last year and was an all-district guy. He is extremely high academic.
Right.
There is no issues with Gibson qualifying. Wherever Gibson wants to go, Gibson's going to be able to go.
Already in that DCTF top 100 too, so pick up your magazine if you haven't.
And then this a couple days ago was notified he's in the ESPN 300 now.
Nice.
So
that makes him a 4-star then.
Exactly.
There you go.
He's moving up. So and he's kind of toured the country. He's taken several unofficials. Parents are great about getting him out there, getting him exposure, and I joked with him at strength and conditioning camp on Monday of this past week about how he was a better man than I was about not fully committing to Hawaii as soon as they offered.
You got to take an official. You got to take an official visit.
That's what
there,
I told
though,
him.
right?
I told him, I think the recruiting coordinator gets to go with you on your OV to Hawaii.
I think so. I think you should. That's the one trip that I pitched to my people here at DCTF. Our boss, Adam Hochfelder, I always say every year that I should go out to cover the Polynesian Bowl, right? There's a couple Texas kids in that game, and I think that we should go cover it.
And the complex that those guys in Hawaii are building right now is it's amazing. So
2023, I know you guys got some players available. If you were advising a college coach who to look at when they came onto campus, give us that guy who you feel like they should be paying some serious attention to.
I'm a little bit biased as a receiver coach. Jalen Smith is a kid that came to us. He played opposite of Matthew this past year. Started as a junior. Jalen's a unique kid. Came to us from the Bronx and New York City. Moved to us as a freshman. Mom and dad are retired New York City police officers. So, they run a tight ship for Jalen, and it makes my life a lot easier to coach him. But Jalen's one of those kids. He played quarterback for us his first 2 years. His first 3 snaps as a sophomore, he took a 67-yard quarterback counter and an 87-yard quarterback counter in the first 3 plays against Klein Forest when he came in the second half his sophomore year. We brought him up.
Okay.
But he played wide receiver last year. First time he's ever played the position. He's a first-team all-district guy.
Wow.
And in our district, that's not easy to do.
It's a very competitive district, and I got to think he's going to get his hands on more football.
Oh yeah, he's the dude.
Year.
He's the guy right now. So we moved him over to Z where Matthew left from, and we've got a couple of younger kids that are contributing Jalen's spot, but Jalen's kind of the guy, right? They could get him the ball in the perimeter on offense, and then on defense, we've got 2, really what I would call shutdown DBs that in Daven Martin. Davin's got a lot of Ivy League schools. He's got UTSA. He's got some of your your smaller level Division I's, HBU.
Yeah.
He's got some of those guys that have really been after him. But Daven's a high academic kid, obviously, if you've got some Ivy Leagues. And then the guy opposite of him that kind of plays boundary corner, Patrick Batiste. He picked up SFA during the summer at their camp. And then also golly, I'm drawing a blank.
He's got offers. That's what we're talking about.
They're Division I guys. Yeah. So, but Patrick's the more physical of the two of them, playing in the boundary, playing a little more man coverage, and then Daven is, Daven's 6'3" and has a wingspan that's just huge. And
so if you're looking for a 6'3" corner, if you're
long legs and fast,
come by Klein, Cain, and see this guy, Ryan Scott. Thanks for the time, Coach, and always enjoy talking to you. And with the 110 coaches reported coming through y'all's high school during the spring, it's a hot place to be. So
it is. We're popular. So
come through there and see him.